Radio. Rahim here with none other than Joe Joyce. Massive fight just around the corner at the O2 coming this Saturday. And, listen, people love you, Joe. I enjoy hanging out with you. You're a charming, charismatic guy and a good dude. And so when we see this roundtable with you and Chisora, I mean, you must know from the reaction, people are having a laugh. Did you see this reaction online?
No, I didn't. What, they were having a laugh? What?
Yeah, because it seemed like Chisora was winding you up. It seemed like Chisora was, kind of talking circles around you and what was happening during the fight. Did you feel like he was putting it on in that way?
No, not particularly. I thought, just let him chat his rubbish, and I'll just beat him up I'll beat him in the fight.
So, people say boxing is an 80% mental game, right? And a lot of people...
he's trying to get in my head and say little controversial things, but that's Derek. He's been in the sport a long time, and that's his character.
Did it, though, on the night annoy you, or did it...
Which night are you talking about?
I don't know, was it daytime? We can't tell because there's no windows. But let's call it the day then. While you were sitting at the table, were you annoyed by him, just constantly winding you up?
I didn't get wound up by it. He's just, he can just do him and say whatever he likes, but it's not going to affect the outcome of the fight. It's just words, and I just said what I thought, and he just babbled on about whatever he was going on about. He's just a strange character, but I never thought I'd fight him, and it's really good that the fight's happening now. I'm excited to get back in the ring and get back to just getting the big fights. And this is a big fight. It's a long time coming. I wanted to fight him years ago. I was in David Hayes' stable. We went to the O2 actually. And after he just won the fight, and then was trying to make the fight then, but he was not interested. And then later, I never thought I was going to fight him. He said to my face he wasn't going to fight me. And then all of a sudden, Adam was chatting to me, and he said, "Oh, Derek Chisora was a fight." I was like, "Oh yeah, go on, I'll have that fight. I think it's a great fight. It was one that I wanted for a long time." And
like you said, this fight has been talked about for years. And when it was initially brought to the table, it felt like both of you were maybe in a better position in your career. Nobody knew where you were headed or, when your title shots would come. And Derek was still seen, even though you're only 2 years his junior, as more of the veteran, maybe even, potential gatekeeper. We didn't know if Derek had much more left. Do you feel like now is a better time for that fight? Because then the narrative would have been very different.
Yeah, I could beat him, then he can sail off into the sunset, but I could still keep going and keep getting in bigger and better fights.
Most people I've heard from have you as the favorite. Most people think you do beat Derek Chisora. However, they put the caveat that if you don't, that this is the end for Joe Joyce. I mean, obviously, you've had a win in your most recent fight.
If you look at Derek's career, he's had a lot of losses on his record, but he's still come back. And it's, I want to show people it's not about being beat. When you get beaten, you have to, rise again and come back bigger, better and stronger and more focused. And that's what I believe I'm bringing to the table. That's what I'm doing for this fight.
You feel like you are still in the upper echelon of the elite heavyweight division. Are you still in the conversation with the Usyks and the Joshuas and the Furies, Dubois?
Yeah, once I beat Chisora, and then, it only takes look at Parker, look at Joshua, look at Dubois, who I beat and stuff. So, it's never the end. You can only take 1 or 2 fights to get back in the mix, and I'm still top 10. So from beating Chisora, then I'll be back in the mix anyway. I believe I just need to, have a good fight with him and beat him with my elite level skills.
Whether fair or not, like I say, people do look at this as a do or die. So let's say you do. This won't be the fight that gets the critics and the fans on large saying that you are in the top 5 then. What fight do you need to win? Is it a rematch with Dubois? What fight is it that you think makes Joe Joyce one of those names again, put you back in that mix across the board of critics and fans?
I don't want to look too far into the future. Presently, I'm fighting Chisora, and I'm going to look good against him, and then it'll capture the imagination for the next fights coming up, leading up. Like especially if I put on a good performance, which I believe I will. Then it just sets up other fights, and you can see how it only takes a few fights to switch things around and change things. Like you can see, you can come back. It's not about how you get beat. It's about how you come back from defeat and getting better.
Much was made of the roundtable discussion about, how are you going to beat me, Joe? And he goes into talking about how he's going to beat you, he's going to punch you in the face, all the normal things that Chisora would say. But in reality, I know you're not going to give away your strategy, but styles make fights, and you guys are both bangers. You're not known for a ton of footwork or backing up. So is it even more complicated than that? Are we looking at like rock'em sock'em robots in the middle of the ring, or is there a strategy for Chisora?
Yeah, there's always a strategy until you get punched in the face, as the saying goes. But yeah, no, it's going to be an exciting fight. Our styles will mesh well, and yeah, the great O2 Arena. I'm in my hometown. I'm ready for a big fight.
And you're ready for a big press conference, so I got to let you go. But the last question, which can be uncomfortable, man. Like, again, people love you. You've entertained us for many years. You've been in big fights. Obviously, you feel like there's a lot of potential left. But the conversation is this even worth the punishment? Like, do you consider when getting into these big fights, especially with a big puncher, that the wear and tear on your body and your brain could be more than this fight game is worth?
I'm in a contact sport. I've been doing contact sport since I was 6 years old when I started rugby. So I'm used to getting in there and getting physical. And boxing was like, I tried lots of different sports, but boxing is what kept me here. Is that I've had a great career, and I'm still there's still more to come for me. So I'm just developing my skills and getting myself in the right fights, exciting fights, and this is one. So it's going to beat him and then go on from there. I don't worry about some knocks and bumps and stuff because I'm tough. And I believe I'm a great fighter and elite fighter. I'm Olympic silver medalist, and I'm coming for a full world title.
You've had enough of success to know what it means to be in that top echelon of heavyweights, but you haven't had the moment where you're on the tippy top, where you're the pound for pound number one, where you're the world champion that is the guy to beat. Is that what it requires for you to feel like you've done what you came to do in boxing?
Yeah, I need to get all the bells and whistles before I can even think about retiring, and I'm still fresh. I started at 22, which I think Chisora was already a pro at that point, so there's plenty more left in the tank for me. So I'm really excited for the future, and I can't wait to fight on Saturday night.
And lastly, Joe, the next big fight after this big fight is going to be Dubois Joshua. Potentially, that could be an opponent for you either in the rematch or your first fight with Joshua. How do you see that fight going?
I think that's a great fight. I'm going to tune in and may the best man win. I think, they're both heavy hitters, and good luck to the both of them.
If you had to give the edge to one man, where would it go?
I think it's a difficult one. It's a difficult one. I would say I would edge with Joshua, but Dubois is coming up, from a defeat to myself. From myself, I beat him, but he's come back, and he always hits hard. So let's see what happens.
If Dubois were to win, just giving you the what ifs, he'd be in a position as the IBF champion. Is that
that'd be a great fight? Yeah, great rematch. Let's get it done, but he's got to beat Joshua first, right?
Do you think he's better than he was when he fought you? Better now with the success he's had with
I think
Charles?
Don Charles is a good coach for him. But yeah, that's all I've got to say about that, man.
Well, we can't wait to see this fight on Saturday night. You've taken a lot of stick for it, but at the same time, I think you're both hell of a warriors, and whatever happens in the ring is certainly going to be entertaining. So thank you for the time. Radio Rahim with the Juggernaut Joe Joyce.